What's up and welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tuesday Tips and Tricks. I'm your host, Max at WeVideo. And as always, we've got another fantastic episode lined up for you guys today. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, give us a shout out in the comments. Let us know where you're from. Today's going to be a really fun episode. I've been super excited for this. We've been wanting to do a YouTube gaming, a streaming gaming focused episode for quite some time now, and we found the perfect guest. So you guys are in for a treat. We've also got some product updates coming your way towards the end of the show, so stay excited for that. And as always, we'll be answering questions throughout and towards the end. Before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as well as hit the bell in the top right corner. Gives you a notification anytime WeVideo releases a new episode. We've also got our Tuesday Tips and Tricks landing page, which you can go and see it at the WeVideo blog. There you can go and opt in to receive an email notification where you'll receive an email every Thursday letting you know what each week's episode is going to be about. You'll also see all of our previous episodes there if you want to go and check out something you missed. All right, with that, let's bring on our co-host, Tyler Wall.
Good morning, Max. Good morning, viewers. Happy Tuesday once again. We got a great episode for you guys today. Gonna go over some gaming.
This is gonna be a very fun one. We did this interview at the tail end of last week, and we'll be showing an excerpt of that. And I do have to say, I mean, if you've ever watched one of these interviews before, they're always good. But this one, I think in particular, has got something for everybody. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of creating a gaming video. And if that's not really your cup of tea and you're kind of curious about this whole streaming phenomenon in the first place, we kind of get into the details about what exactly that is, what it's like to stream on Twitch. And you can get a little kind of more understanding as to why people enjoy doing this. I am seeing a couple of comments come in right now. So yeah, shout out Jason Scholl, John Langfield, thanks for joining us. Christian Nitberg, thanks for joining us. Quick question from Albert. He's a regular at this point. He says, is there any special magic for turning a Google slide or PowerPoint or series of pictures into a video? So maybe while we show this interview next, we can find up some of those previous episodes, but there are quite a few tips that we've pointed out for this. There's a cool Google add-on which makes pulling Google Slides as images, which makes that really easy, and then you can import them. And then we've also done plenty of slideshow episodes as well.
Right, going over the Ken Burns effect. So there are definitely previous episodes on similar effects to
that. Yeah. So Jason just pointed out, you can export slides as images. You can do that manually by going into Google Slides and then saving as an image. To do it in bulk, if you've got a really long slideshow of like 30 plus slides, there are quite a few different free plugins out there which allow you to just quickly pull everything as a PNG. All right, well, cool. So a little background before we kind of show this excerpt of the interview. We've been wanting to bring on a YouTube gamer who uses WeVideo to create videos for quite some time. And someone who we found someone not only who's doing it on a regular basis, but making money doing so using WeVideo and then promoting short kind of clips of her gaming on TikTok and YouTube Reels, and we're kind of get into all the nitty gritty there. So without further ado, everybody please enjoy this excerpt of MagickMoonshot and her story of how she became a Twitch gamer. We've been wanting to get a professional or a YouTube gamer, someone who is beyond kind of the amateur level for some time now, and was super stoked when it was actually Jeremy from he manages our Twitter. He forwarded me the Twitter and your account, and I was like, this is perfect.
Yay.
So let's just get kind of like a quick background for all of our viewers. Kind of like cover what games you play, what you do, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty of how you use WeVideo.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, MagickMoonshot. I've been in the gaming space officially for, I guess, like 5 years, but it's always been kind of a part-time hobby, just something I enjoy. And then, yeah, I do a variety of things. Like I live stream, and then I'm across most social media platforms, which is what I use WeVideo for, is for like highlight clips and that sort of thing. But I play mostly Destiny 2 on Xbox. And yeah, I love synthwave 80s stuff. So my Twitch channel is a lot of 80s vibes. We do a little bit of like retro Pac-Man for like the bits and sub badges, and just kind of have fun with like the whole arcade feel. Like I want it to feel like you're back in an 80s arcade.
Love it. So yeah, kind of back to is gaming and streaming still just a hobby, or is this?
It's kind of like a side gig. So I work in gaming and esports partnerships as my my actual job. But I have done everything from like streaming, 10 hours a week up to like 40 hours a week. So I guess it's kind of like a side gig at this point. So it does bring in some income. I do take it pretty seriously, like as you would a job, but it's not quite full time right now.
Well, I mean, it's so cool. It's interesting because I mean, for me, growing up, like the fifth grade dream job would be like astronaut, firefighter, and that sort of thing. And I feel like there's been kind of a somewhat recent transition now to where like the dream job has been, and this has probably been inspired by like big time players like Ninja or PewDiePie, who stream and make a ton of money doing so, is being what I'd call YouTube gamer, or a streamer. So was that a dream of yours too? Like, how did you get into this space? How did you because it's one thing to play, it's another thing to get to the point where you're streaming and you feel like people actually want to just watch you play, which is such a weird concept.
It is totally different. So when I first got into streaming, I was kind of new to the whole idea of like Twitch or live broadcasting gameplay, but I'd always played video games. Like that was always kind of my go-to like hobby. I just had never thought about turning it into something beyond just like my living room couch. So it's actually a friend of mine that was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting streaming and we should do it like together. And so he talked me into it. So his name's Poot. And so we did the Poot and Magic show, where we would team up together and we would both broadcast. But like from there, I guess I got bit by like the bug, because a few months in, I like quit. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's taking too much time. And like 2 weeks and I was back. Like I couldn't get away from it if I tried. Back like 2.5 years ago, I had my daughter and everyone was like, oh, she's going to be gone for a while. And I was back streaming in 5 days after having her. Cause I miss that. Like, it's more than just the video game. It's really like connecting with people, and like the game is just like what you have in common. So like that's kind of where the arcade idea came from. It's not just about playing Pac-Man or Pong or whatever the game is. It's really about a place to come and hang out and meet people with common interests.
Super cool. So I get an idea of kind of the timeline here. To put things into perspective, how long were you kind of starting off, and like give me a count of like how many subscribers you had, and then from there, at what point did you first make your first dollar, and like how quickly was it in this kind of process? Because right now you're at it's like 2.7 with followers.
A little bit of context to that. So I was on Mixer for 3 years. So I was on Twitch for like 10 months, and I would say it was very like casual hobby. I maybe was at like 250 followers at that point, but I hadn't even hit like affiliate status, or affiliate didn't exist because this was like 2016, I guess. But then when Mixer came out, it was right when Microsoft bought it out, because it used to be called Beam. And then Microsoft bought out Beam, and it later changed to be called Mixer. And then on Mixer was different because of there was almost zero latency between the broadcaster and the chat. So that's where I really kind of started building like a community and started having dialogue with people that would come and watch me play games. And from there, I grew. I became a Mixer partner for 2 years. I passed, I don't know, I had over 30,000 followers on Mixer. But then I decided to come back to Twitch because I just saw more longevity opportunities on Twitch. And then about 5 or 6 months later, Mixer shut down. So everybody was like, Magic, you can see the future. Like, how did you know? I got a little bit lucky with the timing of it. I saw the platform going in a direction I didn't want to go. So I came back over to Twitch, and it turned out to be kind of fortuitous. But that's kind of been like the journey. So I think it was when I started to really push for Mixer partnerships. So this was probably about 2 years into streaming that I started to kind of take it more seriously. So I'm going to show the screen of what I was actually just working on today. So this is kind of this is a new account. I recently rebranded. So I had a lot of WeVideo stuff on an old account. So this one looks fairly empty, but like up here are all my uploads and stuff. But here's the video I made. It's not like super intensive, but this is only a 13-second long video. So you don't really want too much going on here. But yeah, kind of my workflow here is I kind of set up the different files like what I wanted. I do a lot of video files and then like only one audio file, which is technically
Looks
just
like
my camera.
You're naming your tracks.
Yep. I named my tracks. So this organization is good because if I want an 8-minute edit, like I have to know ahead of time where everything's going to go, right?
Right.
And I can show you like kind of one of the templates I was building out later if you want. But anyways, so on here, the key thing for vertical format, especially for like TikTok, is if you use a webcam, you're actually going to duplicate this. Like this clip is identical here and here, but one is for the gameplay and one is for the webcam. And so you actually cut the webcam out and reposition it. Top and center is most common for this. This one here is actually the border I put around my camera just because I don't already have a cam box. I use a green screen. So I wanted there to be a little more distinction. So that's what this is. This is just the webcam. Up here is obviously the subtitles. The nice thing about the subtitles is like once you have it set up with like the font and the color and the size and position, like you can just copy paste it and then you only have to edit the text and the position of it. So this one's really short. There's only 3 boxes of subtitles. Usually I'll have like, I don't know, 8 to 12 maybe. This is a short one. And then up here, this is what I would consider my outro. I don't like to do an intro because I want to catch people's attention just with what's happening in the clip, but I use an outro. That's just personal preference. But the outro, it has a little GIF that's a Twitch little box here, and then this is part of my logo that just says MagickMoonshot because I do want people to know my main platform is Twitch. So that's all. That's pretty much all that's happening. And then these gray boxes are just the transitions, like a fade in, just so it's not quite so harsh to start with. The same thing here with the outro, like a little bit of a fade in, and then these are all fade to black because at the very end I like for the clip to fade out and all you're left with then is just ta-da, here's where to find me.
That's great.
That's it. Do you want me to show this 13 seconds?
Let's do it. Yeah, and we can. I think you've sent this to me already as well.
I didn't because I made this one today. So
okay. Yeah,
this
cool. You
one,
can send me this after.
brand new. I love. Look at this. Look at this.
Nice.
Look at how beautiful this is. I got a little excited, and then I died, and that's it. So this is short and simple. Sometimes there'll be like a kill streak or something a little bit longer, but this one was just kind of everybody's gonna laugh at me. I'm staring at the scenery, and then I die.
So, kind of back to the content real quick. Obviously, there's tons of different video games, and there's tons of different kind of approaches you can take to playing them and why a viewer watch you. You could be really, really good, and they could watch you because they're looking to learn to be as competitive you. They could be watching you to learn a walkthrough. They could be watching you because you're funny in the commentary throughout. I mean, what do you think sets you apart from, or why do your viewers subscribe to you?
So honestly, I think that my biggest draw, like I will never be the most talented or the most attractive or whatever. Like recognizing your strengths is important. Like my strength is that like I am very much myself when it comes to on stream. Like I am just relatable. Like that's important to people, is that like they see me as a 33-year-old mom out here pursuing my dream of gaming content, right? And it's like people like that because they can relate to that. So that's one thing I have. I think I'm fairly funny. I'm pretty sarcastic, and I just like don't take myself too seriously. So we have fun together, like laughing at me. So I think that, I guess if you want to summarize it, like community building is really my skill set, and that kind of applied to the job I have in esports and gaming too. It's just building relationships. But when I'm communicating with my chat, I don't see them as usernames or viewer numbers. I see them as like the people that they are. So like I'll find out like one of my viewers, like they just had a daughter. So I'll ask like, how's your daughter doing? Like, you know, how old is she now? Or if somebody just got a new job, like how was your workday today? So it's really building a relationship that goes beyond just the video game.
There we go.
That was great.
Yeah, so quick recap. Probably if you're unfamiliar with it, Twitch is a streaming platform for video games, as Lisa asked. And there used to be this other platform called Mixer, which has since actually shut down. And if this whole thing just seems kind of far-fetched and like, why do people do it? There's about 15 million active subscribers on Twitch a day. And if you go on at any point in time, there's an average of 1.5 million live viewers. So there's a wide audience that does this. And then you might be thinking like, okay, is there any actual money beyond this? We've put out quite a few actual articles kind of related to this in YouTube and gaming in particular. And there's some big professional streamers out there, like Ninja or PewDiePie were two of the gamer tags that I had mentioned. And it had come out, I think, around in 2019 that Ninja was making on average anywhere between 500,000 and 2 million a month from playing video games live. So that's making you second guess your career choice. You're not the only one. But pretty cool. Obviously, that's not everybody. Those are the extreme examples. But this is a kind of a growing trend now of people creating video game streams, and it's a wide part of our user base here at WeVideo as well.
Yeah, huge industry. So if you guys do have passion around video games in some way, I'm sure there's a avenue for you to start creating some videos and taking advantage of that. We will hop into WeVideo here in a second and go over a timeline similar to MagickMoonshot's. So if you guys have questions that came up during that interview, please fire them off. But yeah, shout out again to MagickMoonshot for coming on. That was some great insight.
Yeah, we'll the full interview, will be live later today. You can go on and check. And she goes into much more detail about the equipment she uses to not only capture but record herself and create these videos, and then a lot more on the promotional side as well. Particularly TikTok and Instagram Reels are her primary method, which is why, and we are doing the same, is using vertical format for her videos.
Right. Yeah, so in our timeline today, we're set up in the vertical format, as you can see. One of the questions you might have is, how do I get my video gameplay into the editor? So there are a couple ways to go about doing that. Twitch, I believe, allows you to actually record your gameplay and webcam. So you could download that file and then just upload it as you normally would, any sort of media, directly into WeVideo. I think it's very similar with, consoles like PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy, so I'm more familiar with that. But I know PlayStation allows you to just do a quick screen record. You can use the thumb drive, plug that in, get it straight to your computer. So a couple easy ways to do that. We also do have within WeVideo that quick record. So that is another option. If you're playing on your computer, you can actually record your webcam and one of your screens at the same time and bring it in that way too. So we've got some sample gameplay that I found from our stock media library actually, and we've just kind of laid this out in a picture-in-picture format. So pretty straightforward. You can see what's happening with our layers here. We've got our screen cam, and we just went ahead and adjusted that to fill our vertical format to our liking. You can adjust the scale and position here. If you had a webcam similar to MagickMoonshot, she actually created her own background. She mentioned that. You can use this crop feature to really dial in exactly where your webcam is. Next, we have our gameplay happening. Again, we're just filling that screen and positioning it to our liking. And then finally, we just added some text down here. So you might, if you're narrating, you might want to put some captions. This guy just is kind of going for it.
Doing his thing.
Next, we put a nice little tag for your handle. Use our transitions. And then finally, we just added in like, share, subscribe. So this is something you might use as a promotional piece.
Tasteful. So a couple things. Tyler, MagickMoonshot, she labels each one of her tracks. I think that's a good thing for us to point out how to do again. And then we can go from there into one of our latest product updates. And that'll be a nice little segue.
Yeah, let's briefly go over how to label tracks. It's a great tool to have, especially when you start getting into, I don't know what the magic number might be, 8 or more. And you got to stay organized, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start labeling some of these. This top one is my gamer tag. So let's just call this gamer tag. Next, I've got some text, my graphics. So let's go ahead and just call this graphics, motion graphics, GFX. And we have our webcam. And again, just to change the title, all you have to do is click in to your track title, and that will allow you to fill it in. Have our gameplay.
Sweet.
And then our audio. So this could be music 1. Maybe this was our voiceover. And that's going to let us quickly at a glance know which track is which. And if I were to continue adding stuff to this timeline, I'll know where exactly to drop those pieces of media in.
All right. So you guys have asked for it. It's finally here. The ability to reorder tracks is now up and live in WeVideo.
Yes, it's finally here.
It's very easy to do. Yeah, Tyler's going to show us how.
Yeah, so this is something that's come up quite a bit in our comments. How do I move a track up or down in my timeline? Let's say, we've got a huge timeline. We don't want to have to, this is how we would do it originally, right? We'd have to move this guy over to make space, and then move this track up, and push it, and then bring, a lot of extra work, right? Now all we have to do is use this icon here. This will expand, and you can see these 2 new options show up. So I have move up or move down. And when I say move down, that's going to move this track below. As you can see there, bada boom. So now this track is underneath our gameplay. Maintained our titles. And the layering, it has changed, right? So this guy is now below this one. So when I move him, Move this. Should reflect our layering. So we can move up or down as you saw. Obviously, if you're on the top track and you want to move up, it won't allow you.
Yeah, so you gotta have space. If you're on the bottom track, you can't move down. You can only move up. Pretty self-explanatory there.
Yep. But lots of uses for this. Definitely check it out if you have a WeVideo account. Again, you're just going to hit on these 3 dots here, and that's going to show up with our new move up or move down feature.
And we'll be showing this probably over the next couple Tuesday tips and tricks episodes.
Yeah.
Just because not everybody tunes into everyone, so we'll be broadcasting this on a larger scale coming forward. But
yeah, we'll probably do a quick tip on it as well, just so you guys have that. Right
exactly. There's also quite a few new templates as well, particularly for real estate. Bunch of new real estate templates. There's also some Pride templates in there as well. Those launched today. And then obviously Father's Day is just around the corner, and so is graduation. And you'll be seeing some new stuff in the product now and going forward.
Yep. Always check out our templates. They're always being updated for different events on your calendar. So definitely check those out if you have an account that has access to these.
Awesome. Well, if we don't have any questions coming in, then I think this is probably a good time to wrap up the show. For anyone still with us, next week is going to be a great episode. We're going to be bringing on another special guest and going over affiliate marketing, which is obviously WeVideo just moved their affiliate platform. We'll be kind of going into that briefly, and then just going over kind of the opportunity to make essentially passive income from using WeVideo's share links through your social network. Looks like we have one question from Albert. He says, on the welcome motion title, how can you modify the welcome?
Albert, were you referring to this template we just had up? I might need a little more clarification. So if you're referring to this text here, just like any text, we can go in by double-clicking our clip into our clip editor, and then for text titles, you just simply go into these spaces that allow you to and edit.
Is there a specific motion title in the library that says welcome, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe you can do a quick scan, but they all
essentially the same. Yeah. Great to see the track list moved, John says. Yep. It's a feature I think a lot of people have been waiting for, so very happy to see that. Definitely play around with moving some of your tracks up and down.
Can you just go into the motion titles real quick, Tyler? And see if we can. Do any of those say welcome?
I don't recall anything welcome.
I can't see from here, but maybe just drag one of them in there and we can show really quickly how it looks like from starting from scratch.
Sure. Yeah, so once you have text into your timeline, you're just going to double click or hit our pencil icon. It's going to open up our editor, and then we can adjust the text. There you go.
Perfect. Yep. Christian just commented, move tracks. Looks awesome. Yeah. Super easy to use. Definitely necessary for, I know for sure, anybody who is doing stuff with virtual choir or band ensembles. This is a lifesaver.
Oh yeah. Green screen too is going to be very, very useful to have that. So
yeah.
Great update.
Awesome. Oh, Albert says, can I send you an example? Yep. So Albert, you can either post that maybe in the Facebook business community as a question. We can address it there. Or there's also our support line. But yeah, I don't think you can share videos or images through YouTube comments. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
Happy creating.